Let's get right into it. What if I told you that one of the most beloved brand mascots of all time started off looking like something straight out of your worst nightmare? Yep, I'm talking about the Michelin Man, also known as Bibendum. You know, the pudgy, jolly figure made entirely of tires, the face of Michelin tires that's been gracing billboards for decades. But what if I told you his original form was far, far creepier than the friendly, approachable Michelin Man we know today? In fact, his early design was so grotesque, it could easily be mistaken for the love child of a tire and a corpse. And don't even get me started on the name. Bibendum, what? Sounds more like a character from a weird French horror film than a global brand ambassador. How did we get from there to the jolly tire man we see today? Buckle up, because this isn't just a tale of branding, it's a journey through the history of one of the most bizarre transformations in advertising. In fact, this is the kind of tale that might make you question the true origin of your favorite brand mascots. Picture this. You're in 1898, sitting in a French restaurant, sipping on wine, when an idea is born. And not just any idea, but one that would give birth to a terrifying-looking mascot. The story of Bibendum starts not with a focus group or fancy logo designs, but with a random night out and a drawing of a tire-shaped man. The person behind this creation was none other than the French artist, Gallop, who was commissioned by the Michelin brothers to come up with a way to make tires seem fun. So, naturally, he chose to draw a man made entirely of tires. But here's the catch. This first rendition of the Michelin Man didn't have that jolly, rotund charm. He had a skeletal face, eerie eyes, and looked like he might lunge at you from the shadows. Not exactly the mascot you'd want on your child's backpack, right? But let's not forget, at this time, tires were an intimidating, expensive technology. The idea was to humanize this technology, make it approachable, but maybe not go full-on Frankenstein's monster. As you can imagine, people weren't entirely sold on the new design. It was unsettling, like someone took the Michelin logo and added a dose of terror, but here's where the humor and bizarreness comes in. It actually worked. Over time, as advertising evolved, Bibendum was given a makeover. He started looking less like a Halloween prop and more like the friendly tire man we know today. But here's the kicker: this mascot wasn't just a quirky design, he actually served a purpose. Back then, tires weren't just about getting you from point A to point B, they were a symbol of luxury. If you had a car, it meant you had status, and Michelin wanted to make sure their tires were synonymous with that status. So, Bibendum was brought in as a representation of strength, durability, and success. Imagine being in the early 1900s, seeing this tire man confidently standing next to the phrase, "Michelin tires drink up obstacles." It wasn't just an ad, it was like he was telling you, you're rich and powerful, and you drive with the best. Kind of funny to think about, right? Now, as for the money, things were a little different back in the day. When the Michelin Man first rolled out, he wasn't making any big bucks after all, he was just a cartoon at that point. But the people behind him, they were cashing in. At the time, the Michelin brothers were selling their tires at premium prices. A laborer in France in the early 1900s earned about $1 a day. Meanwhile, someone involved with the Michelin tire business might have been pulling in upwards of $5 a day, a significant amount at the time. Adjust that for inflation, and it's like paying $150 to $200 a day for a tire salesman today. Not bad for a job that involves essentially sitting around waiting for someone to buy your tires. As for Bibendum, though, his transformation wasn't just about redesigning his looks, it was also about adapting to the changing times. As the world moved into the modern age of advertising, this one creepy tire man became a symbol of all things modern and progressive. But as with any transformation, there were a few urban legends along the way. One of the most chilling rumors about the Michelin Man is that he wasn't just a simple figure of fun. No, some people swore he was actually meant to represent the ghost of a dead mechanic whose soul had been trapped inside the tires. A lot of people still joke about this today, calling Bibendum the ghost in the rubber, but it adds a strange, eerie layer to the brand's history. Could there have been more to Bibendum than meets the eye? Could he be the embodiment of all the weird, forgotten stories of tire manufacturing? Or maybe he was just a quirky design that took on a life of its own, fueled by a marketing machine that pushed him into the global spotlight. Who knows? But one thing's for sure, the Michelin Man's journey from creepy tire monster to lovable mascot is one of the weirdest twists in the world of branding. Today, we can look at him with affection, but next time you see that smile, just remember his first iteration was anything but friendly. And that's the strange, terrifying history of the Michelin Man, or Bibendum. Would you want to see a mascot like him today? Probably not. It's hard to imagine a modern company pulling off a mascot that's part tire, part skeleton, and all. Weird, but maybe that's the real reason we like him so much. He's proof that even the creepiest beginnings can lead to success. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.